Hello everyone, I am Neetika Shridhar, Assistant Vice President at ICRA Limited, and through this podcast I'll be sharing our views on key factors that will impact the state government finances in FY24. We have studied the FY24 budgets of 13 states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. We estimate that the combined revenue deficit of the 13 states at rupees 2.1 trillion for FY24. This is higher than the revenue deficit of rupees 1.4 trillion indicated in the FY24 budget estimates, as well as rupees 1.1 trillion included in the FY23 provisional actuals. On the revenue side, we expect the pace of growth of states' own tax revenues to ease to 12% in FY24 from 20 to 26% in the last two fiscal. Now, the main drag on the state's own tax revenue is our projection of a sub 5% growth in the sales tax collections for FY24, which would be the lowest in the last 3 years. The full impact of excise duty cut on fuels by the Government of India in May 2022 and the VAT rate cuts by the state in November 2021, which were subsequently not fully reinstated by most of the states, seem to be negatively affecting states now. However, this is in divergence with our expectations of a healthy 14 to 15% growth in the state GST collections, stamps and registration collections, and around 11% growth in the excise duty collections of the states in FY24. Additionally, we project that the grants from the centre to the states in FY24 to decline sharply from the year ago level, mainly on account of discontinuation of the GST compensation grants and because of the tapering nature of the Finance Commission grants. So, although the GST compensation period ended in June 2022, 8 out of the 13 states in the sample set have included such grants in their FY24 budget estimate. Our understanding is that out of the GST compensation arrears included by the Government of India in the Union Budget FY24, a portion seemed to have been already released to them towards the end of FY23. Therefore, we do not expect states to receive the full amount of GST compensation grants that they have anticipated in their FY24 budget estimates. Moreover, some of the states in the sample have budgeted for a very high growth in the scheme-related grants in FY24 from the year ago level. This again is out of line with the trend in the YY growth of such grants seen in the recent fiscals. So overall, our sense is that the total grants to the 13 states in FY24 would be nearly 2/3 of the budgeted amount, and that would be the lowest amount since FY20. So while we expect states' own tax revenues and grants from the centre to trail the budgeted level, we do expect the tax devolution this year to be in line with the amount which is included by the Government of India in the Union Budget FY24. So based on a projection of lower than budgeted revenues in FY24, we expect states to undertake some downward adjustment in their revenue expenditure. However, despite the higher than budgeted revenue deficit, we project the fiscal space can support a combined capital spending to expand by a robust 29% to rupees 6.2 trillion in FY24 from rupees 4.8 trillion in FY23 provisional actuals, and this would be only modestly lower than the budgeted amount of capex. For projecting the capital spending of 13 states, we have factored in the base borrowing limit of 3% of GSDP, interest-free capex loans by the Government of India to the states, additional market borrowing for power sector reforms for some of the states in the sample, and subtracted the off-budget debt stock for 3 states. Now, an encouraging 8 out of the 13 states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and West Bengal, would have adequate funds for completing 90 to 100% of their budgeted capex for FY24. However, states like Haryana, Kerala, Rajasthan and UP may have funds for about 70 to 89% of their budgeted capex in FY24, and Punjab may have to restrict its capital spending to half of the budgeted amount. We estimate the sample's aggregate fiscal deficit for the current fiscal at rupees 8.3 trillion. This is also higher than rupees 7.7 trillion in FY24 budget estimates and 5.9 trillion indicated in the FY23 provisional actuals. Now, in FY24, the net base borrowing limit of the states is 3% of GSDP. This is the same limit as was prevailing in FY2020 and is lower than 3.5 to 4% of GSDP that was available to them in FY21 to FY23. So this will be particularly unfavorable for those states which have a sizable adjustment in their FY24 borrowing limit on account of incremental off-budget debt of FY22 and or FY23. So here the enlargement of the interest-free capex loan by the Government of India to the states to rupees 1.3 trillion in FY24 from 813 billion in FY23 is particularly well timed, as it will help in partially offsetting the step down in the normal borrowing limit and the adjustment of the off-budget debt. So overall, the combined leverage, which we define as debt plus guarantees, the overall leverage of the sample set is expected to increase to 30% of GSDP in FY24 from around 29% of GSDP in FY23. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for our upcoming podcast.